Yo, what is up guys? How's it going today? My name is Saratube, and today I'm bringing you an OSRS investment analysis on the Basilisk Jaw, a newer item that was released alongside the new Fremennik Exiles quest. I'll be diving into the price movements of the item since its release, and be giving my overall opinions on if I think it's a good item to invest in, and the optimal times to actually invest into the item. Before we get further into the analysis, I just want to briefly talk about the item and what it's actually used for in the game. The Basilisk Jaw drops from the Basilisk Knights on a 1 in 5,000 drop chance, but this item is very unique because the drop chance lowers to 1 in 1,000 if you're on a Slayer task, which is a significant increase in the drop rate. The Jaw is used to create the new Knot face guard, which is the new best in slot strength helmet, often used for PvM situations. This item is very unique because it's one of the only items that has ever come out in old school RuneScape that has actually gone up in price since its release in September 26, 2019. It released with a trading price of around 25 mil, and it recently just hit highs of 41 mil, which I find completely insane. That's why I wanted to bring you guys the video today, because the price movement on the item has just been so odd. About 1,100 of these are currently being traded every day on the Grand Exchange, and finally, the item has a buying limit of 8, and this limit resets every 4 hours. As always with these investment analysis videos, this is my personal analysis on what I think the Basilisk Jaw's price movement will be in the future. If you decide to invest in this item, it is completely at your own risk, so I recommend you do your own analysis first. I'm recording this video on December 18th, 2019, so its current price here in the video may not be the same price that you currently see on the Grand Exchange. First, we're going to start by looking at the Basilisk Jaw's price movements this past week. This week, we've actually seen a lot of regression on the Basilisk Jaw. We saw it peak at 41.5 mil last Friday, but since then, we have seen a regression in price. We had not seen a bounce in price on the Jaw until last night. It looks like it bounced off at around 33 million and 50,000. So once it hit that point, it clearly reflected and hit a high in that short term of about 35,815,000. Since then, the Jaw has been trading around 33 to 35 mil. As far as price movement goes on its weekly view, I don't see any concerns here. I would say keep an eye out for another price movement down to the 32 to 33 million range. If the Jaw hits this bottom point of 33 mil again, I believe it will begin to rise in price afterwards, and I'll personally be investing in the item with the hopes of selling it around the 36 to 37 million price point within the next 7 days. Again, this is only the weekly view, so when you are looking on a weekly view to invest in an item, your timeline for selling the item also has to be within the next week. Moving on to the monthly price timeline, we can see that the price of the Jaw right now is pretty mediocre. It's sitting at around 35 million GP, when in late November, you could have actually gotten one for around 30 to 31 mil. Of course, your hindsight looking back on investments is always 2020, but investors looking to capitalize on future price rising of the Jaw might not really like the entry point as of right now, as in my opinion, 35 mil is a little too expensive to get in on this investment. I would suggest holding off until we see the Jaw's future price movement over about the next week. I think there is room for more price pullback on the Jaw, and I'll be looking to get my investment entry around the 31 to 32 mil price range. I think that's probably the best buy point in this scenario. If we see the Jaw continue to increase in price and not go back down in price, my guess is that the Jaw is going to hit around a 38 mil price point before it starts to decline again. If you miss out on it and the Jaw goes up to 36, 37 mil, I would avoid doing an investment on it at the current time. Just wait for it to pull back again and then maybe decide from there. Usually in these types of videos, I would look at the yearly view as well, but since the item hasn't even been out for a year, we can't look at the yearly price. So instead, let's talk about how much I think the Jaw will be going for in about a year's time and beyond that. The Jaw is an interesting item because the rate that it comes into the game is fairly low. The monster is sort of annoying to fight, and not that many will be killing the Basilisk Knights without a Slayer task, as the drop rate is just super low. As I mentioned earlier, on task, the Jaw drops at a rate of 1 in 1,000. The Jaw is also needed for high-level PvM activities and for high-end PvM players, as it allows them to create the new best-in-slot helmet, the Knot face guard. This will keep the price of the helmet quite high as demand will remain strong for the item. I thought of an item that may have been similar to the drop rate of the Jaw, and what I realized was the Dragon Warhammer is actually a very similar item. It has a similar drop rate off task and is dropped by the Lizardmen Shamans, which is another difficult yet doable monster to kill for the average player. The Dragon Warhammer also has a similar demand, as it's one of the best in-slot spec weapons for the many bosses and even many raids. Looking at the Dragon Warhammer price here, we can see that there's been a slow decrease in the price this past year, dropping from about 60 mil all the way down to 38 mil, where it rebounded up to around the 39 to 43 mil range, where it has been trading for the past month or two. Anyway, due to the Jaw's low drop rate, yet importance in the PvM scene, I think we're going to see the Jaw follow a similar price movement in the long term. Obviously, the prices are not going to be the same as the Dragon Warhammer, but the price movements will likely reflect that of the Dragon Warhammer. So my guess is the Jaw will still be around the 30 mil price point in a year's time, and once a year passes, I think the Jaw is actually going to slowly decrease a little bit more after that as another year goes on, landing the price between 22 to 25 mil, where it will likely trade up and down in price. I think the Jaw is going to trade in this range just because, I mean, everyone is going to have the Jaw that really needs it in about a year's time. If it's too expensive for them now, then they're going to get it when it's 30 mil. And after that, there's only going to be so many players that are actually reaching the high-end PvM scene, as RuneScape is really not that big of a game. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about the Jaw. It's just been a super funky item recently, and I had to give you guys my thoughts about it. Did you guys enjoy this investment? Also, I want to know if you have been flipping the Basilisk Jaw recently. I flipped a few of them with mixed results, so I'm looking to hopefully get a good investment on them. If you guys want more flipping tips, strategies, and analysis, be sure to join us on Discord using the link below to join a community of 600 plus members who are dedicated to flipping and increasing their banks in old school RuneScape. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.